Okay. All right, y'all. So we are here. We are here. So we're gonna be talking about the stream is gonna be about, you know, as you've seen in the title, F laziness. How hard can it be? And it's more about overcoming laziness. This is a practical strategy for taking action ASAP. Because one thing is for sure that's gonna make the difference in our lives, whether we want it or not, is action. So, guys, like and subscribe. Thank you. And action, one other thing that is important is the people that you surround yourself with, or what you choose to feed your mind with, or what you choose to feed your intention or your attention with. That's also very necessary. But first, we're gonna be looking at this from someone else's perspective, which is let me see, we're gonna listen to someone who's gonna share her experience of what does she mean. The social contagious rule, what does it say? I don't know if you guys ever heard about that, about the social contagious rule, but it's basically contagious. Energy is contagious. The people who are around you can be contagious, and basically can help you to be motivated or demotivated, can help you to get over your laziness or whatever feeling that you want to manifest in your life. Is always best that you associate yourself with such people so you can manifest these type of feelings in your life. So this is what we're going to talk about when it comes to social contagious rules and what does it say. First, let me put up the video here. Okay, why is this? You guys can hear it. Okay, wait. The version you are today is the version young you need. You're doing great. Thank you. Can you also thank you? How are you? I'm doing good. How you guys? Guys, can you guys like and follow? So now let me see. I finally got it.
Within 25 feet of a high performer, your own performance improves by 15%. Here's the kicker. If you sit within 25 feet of a low performer, your own performance decreases by 30%. This means that our negative emotions are more contagious. That if you're around people who are low performers, whatever that means to you, who have negative cues, who are feeling anxious or tired or low confident, you could catch those cues and that affects your own performance. This is why it is incredibly critical to invest in the 5 people who you spend the most time with. You want to make sure those 5 people are the cues you want to catch. Do you like the cues they're sending? Do they give you the right motivation, feelings? Do they make you feel liked? Do they make you a better version of yourself? If you sit within 25 feet.
Well, this is why it's important, because again, energy is contagious. So whether positive or negative energy, your body, your life doesn't really decide. It's more about who you are around. It's automatically the energy is gonna be seeping in through you. So that's why it's always important. This is the first important thing that I want to point out to you guys when it comes to or getting over your laziness. But you can find your way to be around people, if you can, who are also out of that state of being, which is not laziness. So first thing, when it comes to laziness, the first thing that you want to do if you want to get out of it, and this is a plan of action, I'm going to put step by step things that you can do and to help you to overcome it. So the first thing you want to do is to understand your laziness. Sometimes you might not understand what it is. First, we need to reframe what you call laziness. And sometimes laziness can be it can be misunderstood. It can be misinterpreted as lack of clear goal. It could be that you don't have a clear goal. It can be that you fear of failure, or you are perfectionist. Hi. And it could be that your decision fatigue. You're in a situation where you have to make so much decision, or you have been making so many decisions, and you become so tired of making decision. Or it can be that you become very much overwhelmed, and from large task, or from the different things that you have to handle in your life, makes you become very much overwhelmed. Or it could be that you lack energy, or you basically just going through a burnout. So whichever the situation might be, it's always key to understand what is the source, what is the reason why you are feeling lazy. And now we're gonna look at the actionable strategies that you can use ASAP to get over to situation whenever you are feeling lazy, to get basically to say F laziness. So start with the 5 minute rule. And what is the 5 minute rule? So that means commit. A lot of the time, it's the hardest part is to actually get to start. And a lot of the time is just basically for you to, once you start, you can continue. But the 5 minute rule says just commit to working on a task. Just say to your mind, I'm going to start this task for just 5 minutes. And often what you'll find, the hardest part is to begin, because once you begin, you'll have momentum, you'll be rolling like a snowball effect that keeps you going. So, another thing is as well, sometimes when we have a goal, if it's not clear, if it's not broken down into small tasks and or micro steps, it can be very overwhelming for our brain. And it can seem like it's something, is a high, very big mountain that we have to cross. And whatever your goal might be, instead of making it big, try to cut it in small micro steps. So it can be, let's say for example, instead of you said, okay, I'm gonna clean my house, or I'm gonna clean my home, you can try instead to put away, to say, I'm gonna put away 5 items, or I'm gonna wipe the counter. So this is a powerful way to break down small steps, and these small steps will make the action seems, or whatever that your goal you're trying to accomplish, make it seems not so overwhelming, and it's gonna feel less daunting, that you're gonna really want to take it on. And one thing about when it comes to overcome your laziness, is to use time blocking to prioritize your time, because no one is going to prioritize your time for you, because it is for you. It's your time is your number one priority, and your number one resource as well to prioritize. And so that means you want to schedule specific time for task, rather than relying on motivation. A lot of the time, motivation is not gonna be something that is very static high. It's not something that is gonna be very stable, or something that you can really depend on when it comes to getting what you want to accomplish. So it could be that I'll work on this task from 10 until 10:30. It creates a certain level of commitment without endless negotiating with yourself. It just basically, a lot of the time is that you plan it, and then when the time comes that you plan it, and not just in your mind, not just, some people, you can plan things in your mind, but it's best that you have it somewhere that you are constantly accessing, probably in your calendar, or probably in your, if you have a physical calendar, probably that will be helpful. But again, if you get it out of your mind, then you can see it, then you plan it, then you do it. I thought I'm just lazy, but end up with multiple autoimmune sickness diagnosed. Oh wow. Okay, so how did you? So basically, you went to the doctor and you found out you have a lot of autoimmune sickness. Wow. So what is your? Do you have a plan of approach? Through your healing, to find your healing. Is that Linetta? Do you have a plan of approach to your healing, guys? Let's get to 10K likes, y'all. Like and follow, y'all. So what you want to do is to remove this decision fatigue, because a lot of life is complicated, and sometimes some people can say it's not so difficult, or it's not so complicated, but life is complicated. And one thing is for sure, we need to always have thoughtful planning that can help us to take the big picture in life, to make it something that is a workable activities that we can do on a daily basis. And the first thing that you want to do is to plan your day the night before. That's gonna help. That's gonna be very helpful for you. because if you can do it even a week ahead of time, that's even much better. The longer you can plan, or the more far ahead that you can plan your life, is the more at peace, is the more less stress it's gonna actually cause you. But one thing's for sure is that this planning is not something that you just automatically just start doing and then you are able to do it. It's a skill, something that you learn. It's help you to also be able to manage your time and manage your energy, which we're going to talk about later on. And by doing this, it's going to help you to create a routine for repetitive decision, so which will limit choices where possible, because a lot of the time when you have a routine, and that will mean that when you don't have to make decision as much. So let's say, for example, I have a routine that I have this live at a specific time. I know, okay, this is it's really a done deal. I don't have to really think about it. I don't have to think about it every time. And there's a certain, certain flow, a certain structure that I have, and I don't have to really always think about it every day. But sometimes I can add small tweaks to it, I can build on it. But the first thing is you have to have, it's always best that you have a certain sort of structure that makes decision even much easier for you. So, or you don't have to always be making the same decisions about the same thing every day, but it's always about, trying to make life much easier for yourself as well by creating a consistent habit or repetitive system. And that limits choices where possible, like having a work uniform. Because if you can think about it, I don't know if you guys, when you used to go to school, or if you are working and you have a work uniform, although for some people it can be like a downer, but to be honest, it limits the amount of decisions that you're gonna make, because you don't have to think about what you're gonna wear every day. You could just put on your uniform. You just have to make sure it's clean and ironed and properly kept, and then you're good to go. So that gives you a form of of a sense of peace, a sense of trust, that okay, you don't have to, it's one less decision that you're gonna have to make. Hey man, I'm turning my life around. How can I stop mental freezes when training? Training, okay, mental freezes when training. What do you mean by that, Jason? So mental freezes when you're training. I have, let me see. I have Hashimoto's MS, okay, fibromyalgia. Um, Besides that, other things, the panic attack. Uh, wow. So I mean, how do you survive? Be yourself. How you doing? Be yourself. You don't want to be no one else. So what is your plan of approach, Lineta? How do you overcome all of these symptoms, all of these diagnosed? Remember again, these diagnosed are, I mean, what are your thoughts? What is your mindset after you've been diagnosed with so much not so much, but with these conditions, Lineta? Let's get to 10K likes, y'all. Like and follow. I would appreciate it. Like and follow, y'all. So now, another thing that is important is that your environment, we already talked about it, is that the social contagious rule, which means being close to a high performing people, being close, look up in the comment section, being close to someone that is positive, being close to a high performance people, being close to a person that have what you want, that helps you at least a few percentage. It puts you in a few percentage higher to achieving it than being and the vice versa, and the opposite side, than being close to someone who's not going where you want to go. So you can imagine, if you are in a car, if you are going somewhere and you're in a car with someone, but the driver is not going where you want to go, so you'll go and you'll end up where you don't want to be, and it's gonna be wasting your time. It's gonna be a lot of detour. So it's always best that your environment, you need to change it, because for energy and mental clarity. And what I'm talking about a lot of the time, it's not just the people around us, it's also about your environment, your room that you are in, because your home has to be, tidy. You have to have a tidy workspace, and you have to have decluttered space that equals to, when your space is decluttered, it creates a decluttered mind. So your mind become very, open to you know very free, because a lot of the time we can have so many things happening in our home, so many things happening in our vicinity, that it becomes another process that we have to also focus on in the back of our mind. So it's always, necessary to keep your space, your living space clean, your workspace in particular, clean and organized. So go and others, and also your environment could be that, sometimes you have to, change your environment. So you can go to a different location if if you are trying to, when you are working in your own goal, because there's just your job, but there's also some other goals that you can have. We can be multifunctional at the same time. Or it could be a project that you're working in your job or at your job. Sometimes, it could be that you need a different, you feel that your laziness gauge is increasing, that you don't feel the passion or you don't feel the drive that you used to feel. Sometimes you just need to have a different location. Like it can be a cafe, it can be a library. But again, all of this is that it helps you to, regain your focus. So another thing that is very important is to always be able to remove distractions. And you know yourself what distracts you. I thought only women can do that. Um, what? Okay, so remove distraction is very important, because how can you be focused and at the same time be distracted? And let me see what you guys been saying. Just kidding. Yeah, but you smart. You write a short. When you write a short comment, I can read it much quicker. But when you write, doesn't mean when you write a long one, so I have to take time. Just like that, really. I just read your comment so quickly. Mostly, I'm grieving of what I was couple of years ago. I miss doing things. I missed the you missed the all you. Yeah. So do you have to take medication then? Let me see. Hope you're doing well. God bless. Yeah, every day is fight. I don't give up. Do you have to take medication? Guys, like and follow. So now another thing is, what is important is to practice the 2-minute rule, because when it comes to our goals, there are small tasks that we can do on a daily basis when it comes to our goals that can help us to to make our to make it very much easier. So let's say for example it's let me remove this guy, and I'm gonna block you, bro. Okay, you got blocked. Let's say for example, when it comes to, there are small things, there are small tasks that you can easily remove by just doing it now. And that's when you start to use the 2-minute rules. If you notice that a task that you're gonna do, it will take you just 2 minutes to accomplish, hey miss, and try your best to just do it immediately rather than postponing it. And that can be a lot of things. It can be just answering a message, it can be answering an email, it can be, anything that will take just 2 minutes. So do your best to just do it now, because a lot of the time some people would, we are living in a time that a lot of people don't want to do things now, meaning a lot of the time people are trying to, push things in the side, or push things in the future, or push things, or whatever activities that you have to do, push it, keep replanning it or keep rescheduling it. And you have to understand, when you do that, that creates a certain level of habit that you don't want to have as well. Because you have to, everything in life, whatever you practice is going to become a habit. And that means the good things or the things that you don't want to become a habit in your life as well. So it can be this very smallest of thing. Once you start it, once you see that it's gonna take, you can imagine, you can know what would take you just 2 minutes. Once you notice it's gonna take you 2 minutes to get accomplished, just do it. And especially if you have 2 minutes to spare, just do it. Just get it out of the way. And you'll that 2 minutes is gonna compile, that 2 minutes is gonna add up, and it's gonna make you become more productive as well. It's gonna make you be able to, chunk a lot of activities that you can do. I think working out every day kills laziness. Yes, Yes, working out every day, and it helps definitely to kill laziness. True, true, and that's why the a lot of high performers, they do work out every day. So focus on system, not goal to build habit. I was talking about system earlier because once you have a system that helps you, that you don't have to think about the steps that you have to do and to accomplish your goal, or to accomplish whatever that you want to accomplish in life, it helps you to have something that you don't have to think about all the time, or it gives you a certain system that you can just plug in some things into it. Then you know, okay, this is what this is, it makes life much easier for you. It releases the burden that it can minimize the chances of you becoming more stressed, or minimizing the chances of you becoming having a burnout. It minimize a lot of things. So it becomes a no-brainer when you have a routine. So let's say, for example, if you want to lose 10 kilos, if that's your desired outcome, instead of creating a system, instead create a system is what will get you the result. For example, you'll be like, okay, I'll get coaching, for example, that you'll find in the link in my bio. And also it will be like, I'll walk 20 minutes after lunch daily, or I'll go to the gym daily, or 5 days a week, or as much as I can per week. I'll work out, I'll focus on my nutrition and all of these things. This is a process. Habits takes 90 days. I hear that a lot. Sometimes some people say habits takes 90 days or 21 days to create, but I don't think, I do understand it will, after a certain period of time, some things can become a habit, but after a while, that 90 days, you still have to keep still pushing yourself, or have the same or not equivalent, but it's more of a mindset, to be honest. You can create a habit in 90 days, meaning that you have the starting point, and you have the intermediate point, you have that you can build on it. But it's a lot of the time habit, but also mindset's gonna be the one that's gonna keep you going for the long haul. Because just because you have the habit doesn't mean that you're gonna have the motivation all the time, doesn't mean that you're gonna have you're gonna be in the mood all the time. Still 90 days, yeah, it's a rule of thumb. But again, there are more things involved in that. I mean, you can think about your own life that way. Some things that you have done for 90 days, you need the discipline. Yes, you need the discipline, but you also need a lot of things. It's just it's more of the mindset. You need the mindset for it, guys. Let's get to 10K likes, y'all. Come on, everybody, like and follow. So now, after you have a system, I'm working, listening, but can't really engage. Thank you, Camille. You can also engage through some gifts. That'll appreciate. That'll be appreciated. Some gifts, I put it here. So, and use implementation intentions. So let's say, for example, all of the time when you are dealing with yourself, you have to also be able to negotiate with your own self. You guys probably don't know. I mean, I don't know. You guys probably do that. Probably you don't know that you are negotiating with yourself. Let's say, for example, you would say, okay, well, I'll have this piece of whatever food that you're gonna have. Then you say, okay, I'm gonna eat a big amount of food, and I'm gonna train extra harder. Or that's negotiation. So I'm gonna buy this now, I'm gonna save later. That's negotiation. But you can also use, to get rid of your laziness, you can use implementation intention. So let's say, for example, this is the formula, and I'm going to give an example of the formula. So let's say, for example, if this situation in parentheses, then I will do such action. Let's say, for example, if I finish breakfast, then I will immediately work on my report for 25 minutes. So that's like creating a condition or negotiation with yourself. So that's gonna be something that works and help you as well. Now look, this again, like I was saying, Willie, is about mindset. It's a huge mindset shift. And who is better to understand, to tell us about mindset than a multi-billionaire? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang. Probably you guys have heard of him, but again, is a multi-billionaire. He's telling him, I do understand it could be easier for them when you have, a lot of money. It can be easier for you to become um, not lazy. Never heard of him? Okay. Who is who is he? All right, I'm gonna tell you guys about. Do you play video games, Dawili? Do you play video games? Do you play any video games? It's basically Nvidia. No? Okay. Let me see what else. If no video games, but basically a common he's a Taiwanese and American business executive. So basically, Nvidia is a company that guys let's like and follow. And you know Nvidia basically is the guy who invented Nvidia. If you guys know artificial intelligence is or AI nowadays is leading the world, or gaming, or creative design, or vehicle auto, or like a Tesla, for example, or robots. They say that AI is gonna be the future. But you have to think about, when you think about all of these things, there are certain hardware, like in your phone, inside your phone, that will be hardware. Yeah, he's an Asian guy. I know him. Yeah, short, skinny guy. Exactly, him. So basically, he's sharing his story of when he's not in the mood, how does he overcome it? And he's telling his story from, let me show you guys on YouTube. He's okay. Who is Yansan and Yansan Huang? And this guy is worth $165 billion. And he's sharing, and I think it's very necessary that we speak about these people, because they can give us at least some honest advice or some honest insights into their lives. And some people might not want to believe it, some people might not want to take it, but again, I don't see the point that they will spend their time to just tell us a lie. I mean, he already have FU money. At this point, he don't needs to, he has money for his entire life and his family lifetime. So think about 164.2 billion, 165 billion. So his words, everything that he said does matter. And we're gonna hear what he's gonna talk about when it comes to this.
I approach almost everything from the perspective, how hard can it be? And oftentimes it turns out to be really hard.
So basically, this is basically his mindset. We have found his passion, I think. I mean, he have fun, yeah. He has found his passion. But this is how he approached his passion, or how he approached everything in his life. So maybe this is something that we can take as well, because the way that he approached everything in his life is, how hard can it be?
Almost everything from the perspective, how hard can it be? And oftentimes it turns out to be really hard. Approach it with the attitude, how hard could it be? And if you look at all the things that we've done as a company and what I've done, I've never been CEO before. This is my first CEO gig. So I think I'm going to get it right someday. When we first started the company, and I never raised money, I never wrote a business plan. I still haven't written a business plan.
Hi.
And I've never been a CEO, never even been a manager. In all cases, I approached almost everything like that. How hard do you break it down to first principles, and you learn along the way. And I meant it earlier, so long as you can stay in the game long enough to learn the sport. And staying in the game is, in fact, most of it. I was able to do what I'm doing today because I didn't get bored and I didn't get fired. That I think was the magic.
Yeah, he didn't get bored, he didn't get fired, but he had the mindset, or he still have the mindset of how hard can it be. And I find this was, really crucial to share with you all, because a lot of the time, the reason why we don't take a decision or don't do something is because we think in our minds we make it as harder than it actually is. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, if all of us are given a gift and we have an ability, our own way to actually understand things and make things work, so how hard can it be? And if you are not being self, um, just basically judging your own self by, and you're not making the decision, if you are judging yourself and that's causing you to not make a decision, that's on you to stop doing it. Because a lot of the time you don't know how people are gonna react. I do understand that, but at the same time, it's always it's always best that you just find out. And what's the worst that can happen? People don't agree, people don't understand, or people just don't pay attention. So that's the worst thing that can happen. But again, at least you know. And at least you know that you can make it better next time, and you can grow. So you need something, you need a seed, you need something to help you grow. So a lot of the time, the mindset that we can go into this is to separate, to start separating feelings from action. So you don't need to feel motivated to act. A lot of the time, oftentimes, motivation or action can overcome motivation. So it's not always the other way around. Sometimes you just need to make a decision, and then motivation is going to automatically just flow. But again, the way that you can always have motivation is to try to make it as personal as possible, try to make it as exciting for you as possible. And that's how you can actually have your motivation. Because if you're doing it, but yet you're not really you're not seeing or envisioning or visualizing what you really want to make happen, then, and you are doing the steps that are necessary along the way, then you're not gonna be feeling motivated. So that's how, as well, you need to always as well practice self-compassion, because sometimes we can be, if not all the time, we can be our greatest critic. We can be very self-critical. We can be giving ourselves so much self-criticism about our laziness, and that can create a negative cycle that we constantly keep criticizing ourselves, and that creates a cycle that is not going up, but it's going bringing us down. So acknowledge your feelings without judgment, then gently redirect yourself. So meaning, redirect yourself to the feeling that you would want to replace this laziness with, or this criticism with. Or if you are criticizing yourself in a negative way, find a different way of how you would want to be, and try to at least tell yourself that. You also need to examine the source of your resistance, because we have resistance in us. Again, in our entire biology and as human being, our we just resistance mean that we just want to stay the same. We just want to be comfortable, we just want to be feel safe, and the way that we are. So a lot of the time we don't want to push further. So you gotta ask yourself, what am I avoiding? And what fear is behind my procrastination? Sometimes naming the fear diminishes its power, because again, one way that if you're unable to, manage that fear and actually, overcome the resistance, one way what you can do that would be helpful is to get coaching that can help you to overcome the resistance. And also to connect your task with your value. What do you know? What is your value in the first place? What is it that you value in your life? And what you could do is to link what you need to do to what matters to you, because that's what is going to give you the motivation. If you're doing something, it doesn't matter to you, or you're doing it for somebody else, or you're doing it just for something that is not really in you, then you're gonna be, of course, lazy. You're not gonna have the motivation, you're not gonna have the willpower, and all of these, the mindset, everything that is very useful for you to actually, accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. So let's say, for example, it could be, I'm organizing finance because I value my future security. And that could be something that you value. So you value your future security, so you organize your life, you organize your finance. But then you got to know yourself, and knowing yourself, exactly. So that's why I ask, do you know what you value? What are your values? So that's a way that you can know yourself as well. What are the things that you value? You can ask yourself this question. And also to reframing this, when you reframe the question, it creates a deep sense of motivation. once you know that you are working towards or in connection with your value, then you will have a deeper sense of motivation, because you will be doing something that you like to do, that you want to do, and that you find pleasure in doing. So, the rest is just, sharing it to the world. And another thing that we have to always keep in mind, as all of us, we do have a certain level of energy, that our energy is finite. So meaning we don't have all the energy in the world to accomplish everything that in the world. So just like all of us have 24 hours, our energy is not, although not the same, it's not are not equal, but we still have energy that we have to manage. We have to always manage our energy, which is crucial. So let's say, for example, what are the things that can take away our energy first, and what can give us energy? So let's say, for example, the energy takers. For example, we have the first one is fear. Fear can be a very much a big energy um, taker. And hello, and self-criticism. Self-criticism is another energy drainer, or taker of energy. Stress takes your energy. Procrastination takes your energy. Laziness takes your energy. But on top of that, and the other side, there are things that gives you energy, such as learning new things, or doing something new, or forcing yourself sometimes, to do something new. Sometimes, resistance can be, if you have a rubber band and you pull in it, resistance will be what's in the middle. Sometimes you have to, pull yourself out into your comfort zone. Positive thinking gives you energy. Meditation or movement gives you energy as well. So it's always best that you practice these things or use these tools to help you to be energized. And again, energy is what's going to help you to get to where you want to be. So respect your natural rhythm. Don't fight it. And a lot of the time, the way you can do that is to schedule demanding. Remember, I talk about planning. You have to schedule your demanding task during your peak energy time. So you know yourself, like Willie said, is that when you know yourself, you know what time of the day that you have the most energy and what time of the day that you have the least energy. So tasks or activities that are aligned with what you want to accomplish, you want to schedule your day or your timing just to do the things that are heavy, or to do the things that aligns with your activity that you need, with where you want to be. Do these more heavier tasks during that time of peak energy. And also, and save low energy tasks, because you don't want to be doing low energy tasks during high energy. You want to be able to use the energy wisely, because again, energy is, at least for us as human beings, it is something that it's finite. It has a limit. So save low energy tasks for when you are naturally less focused. When you are less focused, you don't want to be doing things that are, that would require more focus from you. For the most, okay, for the most time is in the morning. So in the morning is when you have the most energy. So that's the time you want to, this is your peak performance moment. So that's the time that you want to focus and doing the things that really align that and with your life. So and low energy time, doing tasks that are not a priority, but that helps you to support you as a person. These are the best time to do it. And again, we already talked about start incorporating movement in your routine, because sometimes you might basically lack focus, or you're just not in the right mood. When you can do a brief activity, or even stretching or walking, that can significantly boost your energy and focus, and actually help you to basically change your mood. Hardest task first. Yeah, hardest task first, or more importantly, hardest task during your peak energy hours, or during your peak energy moment, and you would know that, knowing yourself. So tomorrow is starting from tomorrow is a good time, or you can start from tonight. As you are listening, you can reflect and think back. Okay, what time of the day? How does my energy goes? What time of the day that I have the most energy, and what time of the day that I have the least energy? So you can prioritize the things that are more of more biggest priority and the moment of your highest energy, and the things that are least to the least, where you know your energy goes down, you have an energy dip. And you also have to prioritize your sleep, guys. Prioritize your sleep, and your nutrition is foundational, because if you need, if you are not feeding your biological machine or your biological creation of God, how can you expect it to help you to overcome laziness if you are not feeding it, if you are not, replenish it with sleep, with proper sleep? Because chronic laziness can be a symptom of a physical depletion done rather just a character flaw, because sometimes some people can think it's just a character flaw because some people are more lazier than the other. But it's of course it's a rhythm that you build for yourself. How late do you go to bed? For me, these days it depends on the day. I used to I try to go yeah, around 12, maximum 3 p.m. I mean 3 a.m. But for me, um but I do try to get myself, during the day. I use, if I have to get naps, then I'll take some naps if I have to. But again, it depends on the day. Like yesterday, I went to, I think, around before 12, just before 12. I think that was around that time. But a lot. So we are nearly at the annual. So accountability and reward support you to stay on track. Sometimes accountability and reward yourself. A lot of the time we have to be kind to ourselves, to celebrate, but not overly indulge ourselves, because there's sometimes people just want to, the moment that they accomplish a small goal, they want to have a big celebration, and that can make you forget, that can put you in a state that you just want to celebrate more than you want to get to work. So use one thing is that is very important is social, and then hours before 12 count double. The hours before 12 count double. Yeah, I would say that. But again, once you, I do understand, but once you, it depends, because once you have something that you actually are doing that you love, a lot of the time and hours don't really exist, to be honest. It's like you can do whatever that you love any time of the day. So that energy become very much transcendent. All these rules, well, you want to live life without rules, then you do that. And so use social accountability. Tell your coach what you plan to accomplish, because that can help you. Having a coach can help you to be accountable, because a lot of the time there are some people who can do something by themselves, but we have been trained in life not to do things by ourselves, because from the very young, all our lives we've been doing things with getting help. So getting help is not a bad thing. Getting coaching is not a bad thing, but it just help you to stick on track and help you to actually be on track. So prefer an accountability, preferably an accountability coach. You look rested and good. Thank you. Yeah, I am fresh. So you can also create a meaningful rewarding system for yourself, because again, you have to be thankful to your body for allowing you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So celebrate completing tasks with something that you enjoy, and but only after the work is done, of course, because you don't want to be celebrating and the work is not done. So that makes no sense. It's don't give yourself the reward before, give yourself the reward after you've done the work. So track your progress, because what you can track, what you measure, you can for sure, and what you measure you can track, and it can help you to give to know how you can shift it, what you need to do differently, or if you need to do something differently. And you can use a simple checklist, or it's probably a habit tracker. But again, visual proof of progress build a certain level of momentum. Momentum helps you to keep moving. So the last thing I want to say is that when to seek help, because there are certain people, they can have chronic laziness, or chronic that they are probably go into a situation that they chronically don't want to do anything. So if you lack motivation, persistence, this persistently, continuously, despite these strategies, if you're not using, if you are not using these strategies, then, or if you are using these strategies that you still experience, a deep level of motivation, a deep low level of motivation, consider whether there might be underlying issues, because it can be that you are depressed, it can be that you are ADHD, or you're going through a burnout that requires coaching for support. So remember also is that productivity isn't about constant action. It's also about regular rest, leisure, and recovery as essential component of sustainable productivity. So the goal isn't to eliminate a laziness, altogether, or to eliminate lazy moment, but it's to create a balanced approach where you can take purposeful action when it matters the most. So, and do you guys have any questions? So, what does leisure mean? Like fun things, fun times. So, pleasure, leisure, pleasure. You can take it like that. So, any more questions? Let me see. There was a prophet that prayed every day against laziness. Yeah, sloth. Yeah, it's in the Bible. I think it's called it sloth. What is the question? You can just ask a question. You don't have to say I have a question. It's like you're sticking your finger up. Pleasure is for the woman. Yeah, you are men that really, yeah. Yeah, you just pleasure is for women. Why are you so fit? Well, I have my routine, but thank you though. Thanks for the compliment. You mean, yeah, I have my routine. I look after myself. That's why. Any other question, y'all? Like and follow, guys. Any other question? Usually fun emu routine. I don't understand that. You drink alcohol sometimes. Sometimes. I like some wine. What is my routine? My routine is, I train, I do fitness, I do sports, and I focus on my nutrition. I focus on my nutrition, and I drink my water. Dude, is poison. Yeah, it's poison. I know. But so they really, I do. I love your vibe. You should get a vibrator. What? What? I should get a vibe rater. Okay. Wow, that was a good one. Okay, PSI. I like that. That was a good one. Okay. All right. That was a good joke. I must say. Any more question? I have a very good routine. That's good. Any other question, y'all? Question. I what a joke. All right, so let me see. Do you have do I have a woman? That's not part of the conversation, to be honest. The really. Yeah. Anything part of the question that surrounds, laziness, how hard can it be? What I've talked about. Why not? Wait, let's see. Any other questions? I would say